As fears of escalation rise in the Middle East, President Biden set to visit Israel today in a sign of unity. I want to bring in Admiral James Stavridis, former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO. He's also Chief International Analyst for NBC News and MSNBC, to weigh in on what this means. And so, Admiral, why don't we start there? What does this mean? How important a speech and a visit is this? And what are you expecting to see?
It's a big vote of confidence in Israel. It's a signal to both the United States, but also to the Israelis of absolute rock-solid unified support. Number two, Andrew, it's a warning signal to Iran. And the president has been quite vocal in the last week or so, pushing against Iranian escalation in the region, to your original point. And that's why the president, in addition to going himself, has ordered not one, but two aircraft carrier strike groups, as well as 2,000 Marines, are all headed toward Israel. It's a powerful show of force, and it's designed to deter Iran.
Admiral, let's talk about deterrence. What do you think the risk is right now that this war expands?
I think it's actually small. I think it's 10%. Now, that's high in one sense, kind of uncomfortable. But I think there's an 80 to 90% chance, let's put it that way, Andrew, that this thing will be contained in and around Gaza City, that Hezbollah in the north will not lash out. And the reason I think that is because the fundamentals. Iran doesn't want a war right now. They're not looking for a regional conflict that'll completely degrade their own economy. Israel doesn't want a wider war, obviously. They're going to have their hands full in Gaza. And above all, the United States really doesn't want a wider war, hence all of the forces moving there. So while not negligible, I think the threat of a bigger escalation that draws a regional war forward, kind of in the 10% range.
When you look at what's happening now in Gaza and what Israel is doing to try to both hold Hamas accountable as well as trying to return those hostages back to Israel, how would you assess that progress, and what does that look like to you?
I think they have made very strong progress as follows. They have mobilized 350,000 troops. Think about that for a minute. Just the logistics of that, getting everybody in a uniform, getting everybody armed, getting everybody fed, getting everybody to a new destination. 350,000 on a total population in the country of 10 million, only 7 million Jews in that population. So this has been a big undertaking. They've done it quite smoothly. Secondly, special forces infiltrating, moving through Gaza. You see flickers of this. And thirdly, Andrew, the precision-guided strikes. There's been no big collateral damage event. Israel has created the conditions, we would say, in the military to push forward if and when they choose to do so. I would give them high marks for how they are reacting now, obviously low marks for the intelligence failure that led to the initial attack.
Admiral, where do you put the odds that the risk of this expanding into becoming more of a regional conflict with another front opening up in Lebanon, potentially other areas too? I mean, I realize that the president going there, President Biden going there today, is to show support, but it feels like, I think someone else called it a bear hug, to really make sure that they use extreme caution and are very surgical in these strikes to try and protect civilians so as to not conflate things.
That's precisely right, Becky. And I think that very quietly, sub rosa, sotto voce, off stage, you're seeing Tony Blinken, Secretary of State, Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense, the president himself. They're privately counseling the Israelis to go carefully here, because you don't want to flip this narrative, which quite correctly at the moment is the brutality, the horror of what Hamas has done. You don't want to flip that narrative and end up with heavy-handed Israel overreacts. So, yes, the Israelis are getting that kind of quiet counseling in the midst of the full-throated public support.
But Admiral, isn't that the conundrum? Isn't that the trap that in some ways Hamas has tried to set here? And how do you see this playing out over the next several weeks? Because by and large, you have to imagine, unless you believe that some of the Palestinians and others are going to end up going to Egypt or other places, that you could end up having at the same time as this terrible and tragic and disgraceful situation that Hamas has created, a separate humanitarian crisis.
This is top of mind for Israel, Andrew, and this is exactly why the Israelis have moved this massive force to Gaza, but have effectively paused that ground assault. That's why they are using extreme caution in the precision-guided strikes they are using. That's why they are doing everything they can to encourage Egypt, with whom they have quite good relations, to accept these Gazan population. That's why the United States and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have indicated willingness to fund all of this.
Right.
I think that will happen. And already 600,000 have left Gaza City. More will follow. It will give the Israelis a chance, if they go in, to do it in a relatively measured way.
Admiral, real quick, because I know we got to go. A relationship between Israel and Saudi. How do you think this plays out? And I'll give you just one other sort of backdrop to this. A number of major American CEOs planning to be in Saudi next week. They do their big conference every year, financial CEOs and others, and lots of, behind the scenes talking about whether folks should go, whether they shouldn't go, what the relationship is, what's going to happen. What do you say?
I say go. And I think that there will be a resurgence in the Israel-Saudi Arabia partnership. There's a kind of inevitability to that that's going to transcend this. Hamas is not going to be allowed to knock that off. If you go as a CEO to Riyadh, you will hear that. I think you'll gain confidence. Certainly at the Carlyle Group, our teams are moving forward.